You think, why did this business start? There was a need, and so farmers came together and pooled their resources together and started this co-op. And so it was set up by farmers for farmers, and it is set out to benefit the farmer.
It is important to me to be a member of cooperative because as a group of farmers, we pool our grain and we hire management to market it, and therefore we are able to get a better price.
The members of the cooperative are the owners, so they have more control over what happens within that cooperative, within that business, than if it was a standalone entity that was headquartered anywhere. So I kind of like the local control, the members' control of a cooperative.
And that's why I've told different ones before, whether it be a co-op where you buy your input, your chemicals or fertilizer, or marketing co-op like Riceland, you're doing business with yourself. So any profits you're going to reap the benefits of the profits of the business.
The most important thing Riceland does for me is to receive, store, and dry my crops. And then after that, they do orderly marketing throughout the year, where makes it better for us. We feel like we get a better price. We're not selling into the hardest part of the market. We're able to maybe sell out at a different time, and also they're really a good group to work with.
It's a combination of things that make the total important to me. I mean, they start out by receiving my green rice out of the field, and then they take it, they dry it and store it, and as that process moves forward, then it gets milled at the mill, and it then gets marketed either domestically or internationally, whatever's best suited, wherever they can make the best sales at. And they do all this for, if you have the moisture, meet the moisture requirements for 30 to 35 cents a bushel. And I just don't, for me to have to make an investment in on-farm storage, which I have very little of, I find that probably as important to me as anything.
Rice is a little bit more of a, the markets are a little bit more scarce, and I think Riceland does a lot to make sure that there is a market for this crop that's a major crop in our area, but maybe not so much in others. So I think that to me is what what Riceland does, is we always have a market for rice.
The volume that they move, that plays a huge part. We know that there's power in numbers. We know that there's strength in numbers, and when you take all of the cooperative members of Riceland and put all of their rice together,
I think that the co-op, I think it levels out some of those bumps that you might see if you were trying to market your crop on your own.
Riceland will be there buying rice every year, and it's a reliable market that's from a established company.
And if we want to sell it outright, we have that option. We can forward contract if we would like. And also we can pool, which is most of the time what I do. I pool because I feel like the marketing staff are going to do the best job they can to get us the highest price for our crops.
Just because you're a Riceland member, you don't have to put it in the pool. They give you that option to sell your rice on your own. They'll dry it for you. They'll take dry rice. They'll take green rice. There's just because you're in the co-op, that doesn't mean that you have to do, just one certain set of things. You don't have to take green rice and put it in the pool. You can haul in dry rice out of the bins. You can market it yourself with the grower's options, and that makes a big difference. It's not just a one, trick pony. It's a business that's set up to give the farmers what they want. And sometimes they may want to sell it right out of the field. And if they want to market 100% by themselves, that's an option.
Everybody sees the elevator and everybody sees the trucks getting dumped and the rice being, put through the dryers and put into the tanks to be stored. But from that point on, when they drive off, they don't see what goes on from that point on of, all the things that Riceland does to take that raw material and process it into rice that we can eat, rice that can be sold overseas, whether it be in the rough or whether it be in the meal form. The rice flour, the rice bran, all those kind of things that, come with it. Those things are maybe something we need to try to do a little bit better job of publicizing or tooting our own horn, saying, look, we're not just a place for you to dump your rice. I mean, we are, but we do so much more with it.
It gives you a place where, it gives you options for your marketing of your crop. It gives you your storage options, where as it keeps us from having to do that on our farm ourselves, which would cause us to incur more expense or more employees and more overhead. That's where we get our benefit from our Riceland Foods membership, through our marketing options and grain storage and market development.
Well, they mill it, that adds value to it, and they keep looking for any place or area or enhancement that they can take that grain from a raw form and keep adding value to it down the line.
The reason I do business with Riceland Foods is that they're a very strong company. They are financially strong, and you don't have to worry about whether or not the check is good, because they are just well managed and financially secure. And I've been in a situation where someone wasn't, and this is just a great asset for Riceland when I don't worry about them.
The first thing I think of when I think of the reason I am a member of Riceland Foods is their infrastructure. Just in our county alone, we have the Newport facility, there's the Tuckerman facility, and you can tell that they are focused on serving the rice industry.
Well, I think the main part is the stability and the consistent marketplace for it. And some of the history with our operation, when we started delivering in the late 70s, my dad and them, they were delivering to Riceland, and had other family members were delivering elsewhere. And how can I say this? My dad and them got paid for their rice when others didn't, under certain kind of comes full circle some of the recent events that we've been facing the last couple of years. So in a sense, Riceland helped keep us in business during those times whenever other people were not getting paid for the grain.
It's a consistent company. It's got a fairly long history. It's established, financially sound.
But the biggest thing I would say is that it's from a milling yields perspective, just dockage, all the other things that go into what you look at with an elevator. I mean, we're treated fairly, and I feel like we get a good price.
And I think back to, when my grandfather worked at the local dryer when I was a little kid, the effort he put into building that location for all of us down the road to deliver to. I mean, it's I don't know, you can't explain it. It has a meaning to it, and you want that meaning to be successful, and you don't want to do anything that's going to take away from that reputation of that brand. And it's not something that's real easily explained. You just have to live it.
You just look around, the rice farmers you see, we are Riceland.